Welcome, my friends. It is Tuesday, January 17th, 2012. Thank you for joining us for another edition of INFOWARS Nightly News, made possible by patriots that don't want to live as slaves in a New World Order plantation like you. We've got an interview coming up with Curt Linderman Sr., an investigative journalist, dealing with the scourge of police and paramilitary goons harassing and even arresting people that do not vaccinate their children. Doesn't matter if it's not a law. We have a lawless government. So we're going to be breaking that down with him in the interview segment tonight when we break down autism, vaccine dangers, you name it. That's all coming up. An extremely powerful interview this evening. In the meantime, let's go ahead and jump right into the news. Mitt Romney has come out and said that he would sign the National Defense Authorization Act. And in fact, we have him saying that last night during the debate, and we have Ron Paul's response to that.
Governor Romney, as president, would you have signed the National Defense Act as written?
Yes, I would have, and I do believe that it's appropriate to have in our nation the capacity to detain people who are threats to this country, who are members of al-Qaeda. I know that if I were president, I would not abuse this power. And I can also tell you that, in my view, you have to choose people who you believe have sufficient character not to abuse the power of the presidency.
Governor Romney is president.
Well, you don't give the president powers that he could abuse. It's called the Constitution and Bill of Rights. This is the new doublespeak we're hearing from Obama. I'm signing this bill to secretly arrest you and have you disappear into a black hole, but I'm not going to implement it. Well, then why do you want that power? And, of course, Ron Paul responded, but what's so just frightening and creepy about all this is he's talking about detaining people like they don't have the power to detain terrorist suspects now. No, it's indefinitely detained without a trial, and no one even knows where you went. Where'd Alex go? Where'd Darren go? Where'd Marcos go? Where did Rob go? Where'd Wesley go? Oh, well, they all disappeared into a black hole. No one knows where you went. And here's Ron Paul, the kook, the extremist, saying, hey, let's follow America's jurisprudence. This is what makes America America. And they're all like, oh, he doesn't want us to be able to secretly arrest whoever we want. My God, this is insane. No, it's called America, and you traitors don't like it. Here's the clip.
Congressman Paul, a different question. Your plan to...
I have a clue. Why can't I ask you about that one?
You were included in the question in the first place. Do you want 30 seconds to respond to this?
I need a minute. No, I think we're going in the wrong direction for the protection of our liberties here at home. They're under deep threat. This is major. This says that the military can arrest an American citizen for under suspicion, and he can be held indefinitely without habeas corpus and denied a lawyer indefinitely, even in a prison here. So don't give up on our American judicial system so easily, I beg of you.
Kel.
Whoa, I mean, follow the Bill of Rights and Constitution. That's what makes America America. I apologize to viewers for airing that type of profanity and extremism. I'm starting to agree with the establishment. Anybody who doesn't want to fully shred the Bill of Rights, Constitution, private property, Second Amendment is dangerous. I mean, I'm ready for my network job. I'm ready to go on national TV right now and work for Bain Capital that runs Clear Channel. And tell everybody that Ron Paul's bad. I am ready right now to get that job done. Mitt Romney, who still owns large parts of it, but does control all these shows here that are saying Ron Paul's bad. Mr. I love abortion, Mr. I love open borders, I love gun control, I wrote Obamacare. By the way, we have those clips coming up during the break. And a vote for Mitt Romney is a vote for the New World Order. That'll be our little break segment. There's a little piece put together by our own Dave Thomas, who does a great job heading up our YouTube channel with 170 million views, just one of our YouTube channels. You can get the Bain Capital boys who go to the White House and get their talking points down for now. They're busy acting like they're fighting with Obama right now while they're trying to elect Mittens Romney. But that's coming up during the break. Okay, we've gotten into one article this evening. We've only got about 50 others here. Let's continue here with our extremism. There's a Curt article we just showed you. Romney and Obama share same bankster campaign contributors. That's all you need to know about the Ponzi scheme operators and their little abortion lever. I wonder where the Mormon church is on abortion. I guess I'm an extremist too. Cutting babies up, chopping them up's all right. Yeah, there's some of the contributions right there. Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse Group, Morgan Stanley, all the big boys. J.P. Morgan Chase, it's all right there. Same people that give to Obama, give to Lord Romney. And the same whore media that force-fed us Obama is force-feeding us Romney and telling us the second place guy, Ron Paul, is an actual constitutionalist. They're telling us he's an anti-American liberal because he believes in the Constitution and other dirty, bad things. Again, don't talk about that, though. Don't play all the clips of him pushing abortion and open borders and gun control and Obamacare, because now he says different things up there to fool conservatives. Gain capital, no, not allowed to talk about it. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. We're done there for now. Continuing now here with the news. We have a interesting article, and I'm going to get this guy on, Chris Hedges. I want to get him on for a while, a esteemed journalist. He's suing Obama because this allows the arrest, secret arrest of journalists who they say threaten the government's position, which is the people's position, but their position, they say you can be black-bagged. Journalist sues Obama over indefinite detention law. NDAA provision could be one-way ticket to Gitmo for reporters. Claims class action lawsuit. And we have a little clip of that. Here it is.
That for those of us who care about civil liberties, the right of dissent and freedom, we have to stand up. And that's why Carl and I have decided to do this.
Well, good job on that front, because even if you don't win the suit in these kangaroo courts, you expose what's going on. They want to keep this secret arrest of citizens secret because they don't want to make it a political issue. They want to just try to train the cops and military that, see, we have a law behind the scenes, and then roll it out when they have some staged event. No, it's not going to be that way. We're going to be here exposing your criminal activities right down the line. Obama and your Republican clone, your twin dictator, Mittens Romney over there. Now, continuing, a taste of the future, or something right out of science fiction, like in RoboCop in the third episode, where the criminal corporation has bankrupted the city by design by shipping drugs in. Troubled Rhode Island city in receivership loses democracy. And it goes on to say, well, they've gone into receivership, 19,000 people, in Rhode Island, and that now a private corporate board will decide everything, including how many taxes they pay. And so it's just a total mafia takeover. This is why the government, federal government, gives you unfunded state mandates to bankrupt you, is so they can then come in and take control, because the bankers just create the money out of nothing. Shifting gears into a report dealing with Ron Paul. Ron Paul haters planned KKK stunt to smear congressman. This has been out for a few days, and now it's linked to Google operatives. The same folks in Google, of course, running a fake Arab Springs to put al-Qaeda in control in different areas, the Middle East and Libya. And so there it is. They got caught with Rand Paul dressing up like hillbillies in Kentucky and making fun of the locals and running around holding up racist signs claiming they worked for Rand Paul. It turns out they worked for the Democratic challenger, but that didn't work too well. Let's continue here, because now we're aware of your tricks. As Google employee plans KKK stunt to smear Ron Paul, but we're watching. Sorry, not going to work too well for you. But I guess maybe it will work. 2 weeks ago, they put out that Huntsman video claiming that, Huntsman has Asian daughters as ambassador to China. He hates Asians. Vote Ron Paul. No, Ron Paul pointed out that he worked for Obama as ambassador, not that it was wrong to be ambassador to China. but that he worked for Obama. And of course, Fox News, CNN, it turns out they all knew it was fake, but they still ran with it. So maybe even though this is public, they'll say it. I mean, you know, maybe they could have a guy dress up in red pajamas as the devil and come out and say he endorses Ron Paul. The media would say that was completely normal. There's another report we've got at INFOWARS.com that I think is good for people to go read. How to get Ron Paul elected, Tulsa Grassroots Ron Paul Campaign Office. This doesn't just affect Colorado or Oklahoma or Texas. This is nationwide, how you can become a delegate and make sure that they can't try to shut him out at the convention, because this thing is a very close horse race between Mr. Globalist Romney, who, if we expose his record, is dead on arrival politically, and Ron Paul, a true constitutionalist American. And it goes on to say, at this point, I'd like to make a special appeal for all InfoWarriors listeners to claim a chair for liberty at their state conventions to nominate Ron Paul for president. You must call your county GOP office right away to volunteer at the precinct level. And I'm not saying lie like Romney and act like you're a conservative or libertarian to become the presidential candidate. Don't lie and say you support Mittens Romney so they give you that delegate position and then you can double cross them. Don't ever do what they do. All right, continuing here. I'm sorry. It's just there's no end to it. Okay, continuing here. Here's an article out of Casey Research. I think it's pretty good. The Rise of the Praetorian Class. We've got a quote here. This is like in Rome, where there's this ruling class that you ask permission, to wipe your nose or do anything. As the Praetorian class ascends, the clear, albeit unstated message that emerges is that actions and events in the economic class only occur with its tacit consent. What did Karl Rove say a few years ago? The New York Times said, I control reality. We control reality. Whether driving on roads, traveling in the air, visiting public land, walking down the street, or even living in your own home, every action you take is predicated on permission. They're just training you to be a good little slave. Hey, I'm going to grab your wife and children's genitals. I'm TSA. It's for your safety. Hey, but the government put the underwear bomber on the plane. Never mind, traitor. We'll beat you up now. By preconditioning the populace to enforcement of its edicts, most of which are completely arbitrary, the Praetorian class sets itself up for a high degree of autonomy in its actions. This is confirmed by the fact that consequences for malfeasance with the Praetorian class are almost never observed, and when it happens, it typically becomes a grotesque spectacle in which one of its own is sacrificed as an example as to keep appearances of effective internal controls. They eat their own. Wow, that is a good quote, Marcos, that you found. I'm going to cover this on the radio tomorrow. I want to get this right or wrong. That's absolutely, it's all about slave training, all about breaking your will. And then it's just, so when the globalists bend over with their big wart-covered rumpus, you're supposed to just, oh, and they're like, and you're like, that looks like a big wart-covered rumpus. And they're like, no, that's a lily. Now you need to worship it. And, hey, it looks like a pot-bellied pedophile at TSA about to grope my wife. Shut up, Al-Qaeda. It's for your own good. Continuing here, a terrorist defendant or honoring a hero. Which truth do you believe? Hero bin Laden. Now, I don't think he was a hero running attacks against the Serbs and Russians before that. And his code name in the CIA was Tim Osman. Zbigniew Brzezinski and others admit that, and there he is with Zbigniew Brzezinski. But the level of command he did was at least a full colonel, maybe even general. And so the question is, should the establishment bury Osama bin al-Qaeda, CIA, bin Laden? Should al-Qaeda commander bin Laden be buried at Arlington as a hero? I mean, his family is one of the wealthiest in Saudi Arabia, builds most U.S. military bases in the Middle East. And the article just goes over what an incredible hero he is to the New World Order. Here's some of those quotes. Now, again, I think it's terrible that he could be buried at Arlington Cemetery, according to his file. Those who damned bin Laden, who claimed and called him a terrorist, are the same people who tried to defame the memories of JFK and Franklin Roosevelt, two of the most popular men in American history. In fact, because of the attacks, the name bin Laden stands alongside Kennedy and Roosevelt, damned by the same liars. This is satire, of course. If they lied about Kennedy, and they did, and they lied about bin Laden, then what can we also prove? America